Hey, people get it wrong about spring football a lot. Everybody wants to know about the new guy, this, new guy. Listen, if Gunnar Stockton does not get better at particular things, it's not going to matter. And it's not hate, none of that stuff. We focus too much on the new guy, the new shiny object, and all these things. You should focus on signing up for our newsletter. The link is right down below. Make sure you're doing that. It's free. Tens of thousands of people do that. But this spring, to me, Matt, is about the development of Gunnar Stockton. Then we will get to everything else. The shiny new objects, if he's not getting the ball from point A to point B effectively, it's not going to matter. He did that a lot. He did that very well. But when Georgia frankly, when Georgia needed a touchdown at the end of the game, that didn't happen. Is that completely on Gunnar? No, because I know everybody's going to talk about Mike Bobo down below. So maybe it's about Mike and Gunnar and, this, that. So it's about the star players too. Everybody wants to talk about, I don't even know, Ken Malcolm. No, it's about Aaron Murray. It's about Gunnar. It's about, it's about star players.
Ken Malcolm.
I brought up Ken
Ken,
Malcolm, Southwest DeKalb.
that's right. I'm interested to see how they tweak the offensive scheme without Zachariah Branch there. We'll see, how important the screen and short passing game is in 2026 compared to last year, where it was very important. And I'm looking to see which wide receivers emerge, Ryan. Who earns that left tackle spot? Is it Ernest Green or does someone else come in there? So I think the defense is going to be really good. They've got a lot of young, hungry, talented defenders, a lot of year three players, so I think are going to really shine. My focus is how does this offense get better? How do they adapt without a guy like Zachariah Branch? Because I don't think they have someone on the roster like him. I think Sokovia White-Helton could be something similar. He's not catching 81 passes next year. So how do you keep improving the run, which was their focus coming into the spring last year? We have to stop the run. We have to improve on the run. Well, you can't plateau and you can't go backwards. So you still have to improve the run game. But these pass catchers have a big opportunity in front of them. A lot of them can really show the staff this spring, hey, I'm going to be that guy that we need. I'm going to be that alpha. So I'm looking more on how the offense gets better because they have to get better than what they were last year if they want to win that final game of the season.
Yeah, that's the biggest hole to fill, I would say, is, who 81 catches was a Georgia record for a single season, and I believe six of seven of the top seven pass catchers gone, right? I think Lawson Lucky was the only one out of that group. Yeah, I know. Lawson Lucky is the only one out of that group that is returning. So that's just this huge, or London Humphreys, excuse me, is the only one of the out of that top group of pass catchers from a year ago that is returning to this program. That it's more than half of the passing production went to the NFL or graduated. And so they've got to figure out when it's 3rd and 6, what route are we throwing? Because a lot of the times it was Zachariah Branch. There's a reason why people were saying 3rd and Branch. And you go to a game, you go and rewatch a game from last year. A really good one to watch is Florida to see an example of that, where Branch had, I think, 12 catches, something like that. It was his career high. When it was third down, when they needed a play, they went to him. And they didn't have Colby Young that day either, right? And it really showed how much more they went to Branch after that because of this discrepancy. So there are snaps, there are catches to be earned, partially going to be earned during this spring. I think that Dean was right at the beginning, saying you got to focus on the players that have already been here because at the end of the day, they did bring in 9 transfers. Only 2 of them, I would say, are expected starters. I think that'd be fair. And one's on offense, one's on defense. Or would you say Amaris Williams on defense is an expected starter?
I don't know if he's going to
Expected
start.
rotation
He's got to
piece
do
at
something.
least. He's got to do something. And then I think the receiver from Georgia Tech, Isaiah Canyon, I think that he has a good chance to be a starter. So you got to look within. Is it Talon Taylor? They wanted to get the ball to him a little bit last year. He's the borderline 5-star prospect. They got a couple other guys from that class. Is it just London Humphreys that steps up? He's the guy that probably has the most chemistry with Gunnar Stockton at this point, and certainly the most experience out of anybody. I think it is a major question. It could be a major red flag too. I mean, you don't win national championships. We did a video about this sometime in the last 2 months. You don't win national championships without star talent, and there is not clear star talent on Georgia's offense.
Who's the last team? I mean, maybe we're being too harsh, y'all. I mean, who was the last team that won it without star power?
Well, and that means the quarterback too, right? The quarterback is included in that, and Gunnar Stockton, we have 1 year of a sample size of him, right? So it can be, hey, Gunnar just elevates and is a lot better, and he is the engine of the offense and dishing it out. But we have to see that first. I mean, last year that was Mendoza, right? They had really good receiver play as well, but I mean,
I
in the
would put
last
JJ McCarthy.
15, 20 years, I mean, who's the team with the least amount of stars on offense? The
Probably.
Auburn team in 2010?
Go ahead, Matt. I thought you were saying something there.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, I'd probably say Michigan from 2023. JJ
See,
McCarthy's not a star.
yeah, I was
They
gonna
had a
say
good
that.
run game. Blake Corum, really good runner. Was he a star? I think that team kind of had a nice little path to the national championship. They I see what you're saying there. As far as the defense goes, I'm looking to see which one of those transfers comes in and says, "Hey, I want one of those jobs." Right? There's a spot open next to KJ Bolden, who has his starting job. So Ryan has written about all the transfers that have come in. There's a lot of really talented, experienced safeties who are coming to Georgia not to sit on the bench. Maybe someone wins that star position that's still up for grabs. The number three cornerback spot, I think Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones are probably your two starting corners. Injuries happen. If one of those guys goes down, is the number three or four cornerback going to come up and play high level elite football against quality SEC receivers, right? So a lot of this is finding the right depth and putting the depth chart together of guys who can help you if you need his help. But overall, like Dean said, continue to work at quarterback for Gunnar Stockton and just try to get better. And that's up to him and Bobo and the chemistry he has with the pass catchers because that area has to improve. And I think something that they really need to address is the vertical passing game. It just wasn't there the way it should have been last year. That, in my opinion, should be written up on the board at the very top in bold. How do we improve throwing the ball vertically down the field? So we'll see if anything changes from a schematics standpoint in that area.
Yeah, look, a couple things. First of all, you also have guys like Dwight Phillips that are, you can say whatever this guy's got some serious speed. So there's got to be some usage there. We've not said Nate Frazier once. But for me, it comes straight up down to, Gunnar Stockton is the face of this program, and right currently. And you have to perform your starting quarterback, whether it's Jake Fromm leading them down, and I would take Gunnar over Jake. But Jake took them down the field in the Rose Bowl to get them to a national championship game. And there were times against Mississippi, a very good team this past year. Gunnar got it done against Ole Miss for sure. There's going to come a time when you got to be Aaron Murray and get them down the field, or you got to be Shock, or you got to be David Green. And I can name these guys constantly because they all made plays. Gunnar is more than capable of making plays. He can do this, no doubt. But let's not skip over spring for Gunnar. It matters a lot, a ton. It matters for everything. All of these reps cannot get recreated or replicated. You only have 15 events, for lack of a better term, practices. And it's so frustrating going into a practice and the players don't take full advantage of that moment in time. It's very aggravating. And you have to take that ownership of that yourself, Ryan, and you have to seize the day because you don't know when you'll have an injury and you can't perform. You don't know when something happens here or something happens there. I mean, it's now. We're going to be out there in spring. Gunnar, etc. They all have to take advantage of these moments because you can't recreate them. It's too late in August. I'll just tell you that right now. We're getting close to too late right now. It's too late in August. You got to develop all the time. Right now is one of the best times.
Yeah, I think unless we learn some stuff next week when we finally do get to speak with Kirby again and see what's going on, I think this team's pretty healthy. There aren't like these off seasons. There aren't a lot of off season surgeries that we heard about that these guys are going to be out during spring, which is good because that means it's going to be a full on competition for snaps here over the next month or so.
And someone will
A
get
lot
hurt.
of times over the last few years, people have been hurt. I think there are benefits from that, right? Because others get to rotate in, and like Monroe Freeling didn't play last spring, right? So that allowed those young freshmen to rotate in more and play more. That probably bode very well for them later on in the season. But this time, unless there's a couple guys that I just can't think of or we just don't know about until next week, I think it's a largely healthy team, which means you're going to have full on competition for snaps. It's going to be as intense as it possibly can be for that. But no, it started the day that they lost to Ole Miss, right? The next season,
Yep.
especially when you're under a guy like Kirby Smart. What has Gunnar been doing, right? Because they haven't been practicing, but what has he been doing extra to get better at what Matt was talking about? Because that's something I was going to mention, but before and then Matt did, so I'm glad he did. The vertical passing game was borderline non-existent last year. I can think of the handful of times that they threw more than 30 yards down the field, and it was successful a couple times. It did work, but not every time. That's got to be in the bag a little bit more. Things like that, just more intermediate passing. A lot was near the line of scrimmage. They ran the ball really well, but those are things that they've got to add to the offense. And I do think they've got the players to do that. But it's going to be a full-on competition for snaps, and Gunnar will set the tone. I think he is a tone setter for the program, and if you come out and compete, you're a starter, but if you come out and compete like you're trying to earn your starting job in spring, I think that would set the tone for an offense that is going to be kind of young.
Yeah,
Well, go ahead, Matt.
I'm interested to see what the theme is. Is it keep chopping? Is
Mm,
it fire, passion, and energy? Is it better never rest? Right there's always something that he'll throw out there. Sometimes it's at media day, sometimes it's during the spring, but
yeah.
maybe it's get vertical. This year's about getting vertical, like down the field. Let's go.
Let's get
So,
vertical.
yeah, I'm if that's it, I'm calling Kirby's office man, and say, hey, we appreciate you watching, but that's ours. I mean, I want to see what that board looks like as far as where are we getting better because they addressed it last year and they did a good job. They improved the run game and they stopped it better. So it seems like when they focus on something at the beginning of spring, hey, we're identifying our weaknesses. This is where we're getting better. More often than not, they improve on it, right? They make that an emphasis. So I'm interested to see what the emphasis is for this team this spring.
Yeah, again, this is Gunnar Stockton is the face of this program. He has I would say, has a legitimate chance to win the national championship, the Heisman Trophy. He will not go number 1 overall next year, so he's not going to pull the Mendoza Burrow Award, or Cam Newton. But he has the capability to do all of these things, to do 2 of the 3 of those things. The pressure should be on him now because the pressure is going to be on him in Jacksonville. And he can take it. He is mentally tough. We know he's physically tough. But the spring can't just be about – it's disingenuous for me to get up here and act like, oh, no, dude, they're all good. It's all good. Don't worry about anything. Let's see what the new transfer from XY. That's the low-hanging fruit. That's the eye candy. When you got to win games, you have to wrap up, take the person to the ground. You have to complete passes. You got to sometimes convert 3rd and 6s with the pass. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. We see it in the NFL every single Sunday. So this is about those guys. Well, we don't see it with the Falcons so much. Right? So we're gonna maybe with Tua. I'm trying to trigger these 2 guys. I would put as much pressure on Gunnar as possible. I would put as much pressure on Puglisi as possible. I would see what I can do to make them nervous or create nervousness. They know what they're doing at Georgia. I would do all those things and more because spring is about getting ready for fall. By the time you're at fall, it's too late. Thanks for watching.